Quiet before the storm. Let's just jump right into it. Today we're here in downtown Los Angeles at Getro headquarters with CEO and owner Dante Santiago. We go way back. Mm-hmm. We've been a part of some cool projects together. Mm-hmm. How did you get into music? You know, you've been a part of some huge projects. A few of them, Black Eyed Peas, Eazy-E, Fergie's solo stuff, Michael Jackson, Rihanna. How did you get to that point?
Well, it started when I was 11. I was in a choir, and I was one of the lead singers, and for whatever reason, I just did not want to be a singer under no circumstances. But my mom would push me. So I remember we did a show with Stevie Wonder back in, those days, and he had said to my mom, like, well, what you have to do is to get him to sing, you have to stop the conductor as he's about to sing his solo, stop the music, stop the other kids, and we'll see what he's made of. This is what Stevie Wonder said. So
to you?
To my mom.
Oh.
Backstage, like before, because she was like, he would not sing for nothing. We can't bribe him, we can't do anything. And then that night is when I found out like what I was made of. So I just remember I dreaded singing these songs, and then all of a sudden, it just came out. So from that stage, jump forward to college. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in college, and I was about to transfer to a 4-year, and I had a business administration class. And we had this term paper, it was called What Do You Want to Do with Your Life? Mm-hmm. And on my paper, I had the highest grade, and the teacher was like, see me after class. I was like, all right, cool. So I had a conversation, just like I'm having with you, mm-hmm. and she said, and I don't remember her name, that was so long ago, but I just remember her saying, is this what you really want to do? And I said, yeah, why? She goes, well, you can't do it here. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, college is one thing and it's for certain things, but music, She goes, you got to be in the trenches. You got to be in the studios, you got to be in the clubs, you got to be in the streets.
Wow.
To fulfill what you want. So she's like, go do it. And I kid you not, literally right after that, I met a few people that changed my life forever.
Let's get a little bit about your work history. So fast forward, that's how you got into your artist side, and then you developed into the business side, and the behind the scenes, but still on stage, because with the P's you were touring as one of the founding members, mm-hmm. and then you took like this role, which is like an all-encompassing role, which I know you for, which is, I want to get it right, creative A&R. Mm-hmm. How did you get that term? How did you get known in the industry for that titling?
Just being in the studios. Like basically, I would be in the office going over marketing, going over certain things with, singles and albums and, everything involved. But then there was the other side, which was the studio. Mm-hmm. And, Will.IAM, my guy, we would be in the trenches all day, every day. Mm-hmm. Like him and I would always sit in there, and he would create and I would be his staff. Mm-hmm. So there would be times where, and it's a thing where it's a trust thing as well. Mm-hmm. I've been knowing Will for years. Mm-hmm. And when it got down to it, I'll just give you a perfect example. So the third Black Eyed Peas album, which was Elephant, mm-hmm. We had a conversation, and it could have been the last one. Mm. So we put our heads together, we put our team together as far as musicians and whoever, and we created this album. And this was the year after 9/11. So we had started Elephant in the Bay. We got this house, we created, and then they were going to do a show at SOB's in New York, and then 9/11 happens. Mm. So then it changed the whole, the album concept. So that's where the Where's the Loves and all that came from. So in the midst of all of that, our trust factor came into play, and then I would come to him and just be like, what do you think about this? And he would say, I don't know, da-da-da. And then I'd be like, you have to trust me. Mm-hmm. And they always say, don't say trust me, because people always go back on their word.
Yeah.
Not me. When I would say trust me, 9 times out of 10, it would end up working out. Yeah. Because we put the work in. So one of those was Fergie. And, I had known her forever. He had met her before because he did a show with her old group, but that's the extent of it. So then I saw her once again. I hadn't seen her in a while, and she played me some of her new stuff, and I liked it a lot. And then I think a month or so later, we were looking for a replacement for Estero and Kim Hill and Macy Gray, because they were all the singers in the Peas at that time.
Yeah.
And, they had gone off to, do their thing. Yeah. So I was like, I got the perfect person. And, there was a debate at first. He was just like, I don't know. Da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, you gotta trust me. You gotta trust me, bro. Like, she's it.
Yeah.
She's just not some artist that's just gonna come in and look the part. No, she got skills. So you gotta trust me on this one. And then she starts singing on song after song after song. And then I remember Jimmy Iovine heard these records. And it was funny because Pharrell actually heard the records before Jimmy did.
Really?
And so we're in record plant, and Pharrell had heard some of these records, and then Jimmy just happened to walk in that day, and Will was like, yo, I'm glad you came down, because I want you to hear these records. And then Pharrell was like co-signing. He was like, Jimmy. There
was a time when, which is very rare to today, like Pharrell had a room, Will.IAM had a room, so I guess the Peas had a room.
Okay, so it was like this. So the room we were in was Pharrell's room. And then across was Timberlake.
Yeah, because people don't realize in today's world, in that world, that's how a lot of records got done. That's how the co-branding, that's how you hopped on people's records. You would just go, and there would be different producers in different studios doing different things, and you could make these networks.
Right.
Very different today with everyone in their bedroom, but yeah, go on. So you were in Pharrell's room.
So Pharrell had a room, Timberlake had a room, Kanye had a room, and I think we had 2 rooms. So we had the middle room and we had the far room. So I just remember the day that I introduced Kanye and Will together.
That's crazy.
I'm playing Miss Pac-Man with Kanye, and we started a conversation, and then he was like, so what are you working on? I said, Black Eyed Peas. He goes, what? He goes, yo, I want to get on that. And I was like, for real? He was like, dude, please. I was like, all right, I'll be right back. And I went and got Will. I brought him in the room, and then I introduced him. And I was like, Will, he wants to do production on the album. He was like, oh, dope. So then I remember we had, the other room, so we set up his MP in our vocal booth. So he was starting to create, and I just remember in the midst of all of that, he was shopping his deal for his first album.
Wow, so this is before all his big records? Before the accident?
Yep.
Wow.
This was at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So he was shopping, I was like, so who are you looking at? He goes, I'm looking at A&M, I'm looking at Def Jam, and I'm looking at, other people. So he played me that first album, and this Through the Wire wasn't on that album yet.
Got it.
And I was like, yo, this is dope. So then I remember he was supposed to come in a certain day, and then that night before, or 2 nights before, all of us were in the kitchen drinking, having a good time. And then he's like, all right, I'm out. We come back 2 days later. I remember DJ at Interscope. He came and he was like, yeah, what up? Chilling. He goes, where's Kanye at? He's like, there's a problem. He goes, what? He goes, he's in the hospital. He's like, why? He goes, he got a car crash 2 nights ago and he broke his jaw.
Oh, damn.
So he was supposed to, that day,
be with you guys.
He did the beat and he was supposed to rap on it because he had said, yo, I'll bring my price down if you let me rap on the song.
Oh, shit.
He featured on it, which would have been
genius.
Exactly.
Yeah, genius.
So that's how he got a lot of his stuff. He's like, yo, I'll give you this beat, but let me rap on this.
Smart.
And then as you know, he did the song Through the Wire, and man, the rest is history.
Yeah.
So those are fun times, and that was the start of where the Peas went. Like I said, and the most important thing at that time was I felt like I could do no wrong, and what I mean by that is, so first it was Fergie, then I said, yo, you should have Justin sing on Where's the Love, because at that time we had everybody trying to sing it.
Really?
Yes, we had Bilal, we had India Irie, we had everybody trying to sing this damn song, and it just didn't work out. So I said, why don't you try Justin? And he was like, what? Nah. I was like, bro, I said, I don't know if you know this, but he's worked with Timberlake and Pharrell, and he got fire songs. So I think you should. He's not in sync no more. And then I said, well, just think about it. He comes back. He's like, all right, let's try it out. So then I remember the day Justin came, and he sang the hook, and I just remember going like this to Will. When I tell you to trust me, bro, you have to trust me. I'm telling you, because I just get this gut feeling.
Yeah.
And it's a good segue to A&Ring.
Yeah.
So in the midst of this, so my first jobs were A&R coordinator. So
Yeah.
that's what my first job.
That was the title.
That was my title.
Okay.
Other than being an artist.
Yeah.
But I was
But it's good because you had the background and the understanding of being a creative.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have a hard time with creative and then going to like the structural strategy mindset. But you were able to do that because you saw you're like a visionary in artist development.
Right.
And A&R.
Right.
So that was your first time at A&R. Before like the labels came in, like the P's kind of had their own setup.
Yeah.
So what's the importance of building a team in your opinion?
Well, I mean, how I even came in, I mean, obviously the artist thing, but when Napster was around, I remember we had finished our second record. I remember going to a Lids hat store, and I'm trying on hats, and I hear this song in the background. I'm like, oh, that's Joints and Jams. Oh, that's dope, And then it hit me. I was like, wait. No, that's Weekends. I'm like, where'd you get this from? He was like, oh, I went to a show, and they were giving CDs out. I said, well, what else is on the CD? And I heard a song that hadn't been cleared, and it was by the Beatles called Beautiful People.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, let me have it. So then I called Will, and I'm like, yo, you at the studio? He's like, yeah. I said, we gotta talk. Show up, and I played this for him. He's like, you took the songs? And I said, no. I said, obviously this leaked. So from that day on, that's when the trust really started.
Oh, wow.
From that day. And so in what I do, I have different hats, obviously. A&R coordinator was just a title.
Yeah.
But I would sometimes do management. Sometimes, I would be creative in every kind of way because we needed it at the time.
Yeah.
I was around this guy all the time. Like, we would rarely go to Interscope.
Yeah.
Like, if we had to, it would be to go listen to the songs with everybody around the table, or we would go to Jimmy's office. When Elephant was created, that was the stepping stone to what was about to come next, and that was the monkey businesses, the Dutches.
Yeah, and then it was just top of the world for the P's.
But then there was a point when we were doing monkey business that I pulled Will to the side and I said, okay, listen, don't you think it's time that you spread your wings? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you need to let people know how dope of a producer you are and a songwriter.
Oh, because he wasn't branding himself as that at the time. He was just Will.I.am the artist, Black Eyed Peas frontman.
Now he would do his little side projects and he would do stuff for other people. He always produced for people.
Yeah.
But I wanted him to do it at a whole higher level. Like, it's one thing to do it when you're a nobody.
Yeah.
No disrespect. But when you're a somebody,
man, come on.
but when you're a somebody, you take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And so we started working with certain people, Mary J. and all, just certain people, and it started to build.
And that was the era of when you saw titling, you could brand titling producers. I remember seeing Will.I.am as produced by Will.I.am.
Mm-hmm.
That was, which is the predecessor to now, which is the DJ. DJs are the produced by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were like the catalyst to kind of pushing that forward. That made a whole industry, because he might have been one of the first to do that on a grand pop scale.
Right.
'Cause I don't remember anybody before that.
I mean, I remember Diddy when he first started.
Maybe Diddy,
He, if you want to say I'm similar to someone, it is Diddy.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is when he started, he was with Uptown Records, which is Andre Harrell.
Yeah.
And at that time, he had Heavy D and the Boys, he had Jodeci, he had Mary J. Blige, he had all these other artists. Biggie was actually on Uptown. And then I guess Andre and Diddy just had, falling out or whatever happened.
It's business.
And then he left.
Yeah.
And he took Biggie with him. And then that's when he had Craig Mack. And then that's when Flavor of Your Ear came out.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, Diddy was doing producing whatever, and also A&Ring. So Then he built Bad Boy. And then the rest is history with that.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, okay, that's the blueprint.
Yeah.
Because, you know, over time I was like, damn, can I actually do this myself? I've seen this person, this person, this person, this person. But I noticed that the only labels that were being given out was to the artists or producers.
Yeah. The face of brands.
Right.
Being a singular brand into multiple outlets publicly. Oh, he was doing it anyways. So that's kind of like you were an artist development. That's what you are. You develop brands. And
and the reason why it's a good conversation is because that exact thing you just said, when I said, yo, you should spread your wings. I said, because I think you're holding too many songs for Black Eyed Peas. Like, we got some hits, but now it's time to give some of them hits to other people. One of those hits was Ordinary People, which ended up being John Legend's.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a Black Eyed Peas song.
No, I didn't know that. That's incredible.
Yeah. So it was a Black Eyed Peas song, and the beat was different. The hook was a little bit different. It was different.
Yeah.
But Will and John had wrote it before we even went to London to record Monkey Business. And I just remember Ferg being in the studio, in the vocal booth, and I just wasn't feeling, not her, but it just didn't work. It wasn't clicking. So I just turned to Will, I was like, yo, this is not for you guys.
Yeah.
Why? I'm like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know if it's the beat. I don't know if it's her singing what she's singing. I just don't know. I said, if I was you, I'd get us to John.
Wow. So
then John shows up maybe 2 weeks later, and he had asked Will, he was like, yo, so what you gonna do with those songs that we wrote at Glenwood? Da, da, da. He goes, actually, he told me the one song in particular, he told me to get that to you. He's like, why? He goes, he just feels it wasn't for us. He goes, so, okay. He goes, but he also said you should reproduce it because it's just something about the beat it wasn't clicking.
I mean, that was like a minimal record.
Right. So then he goes, so what do I do? He goes, and then you should produce it. He goes, no. All you have to do is get a mic, get in front of your piano, and play. And just,
you know what's incredible about that? I preach that a lot to like a lot of artists that we get into and young artists. A good song will stand the test of time and translate no matter what.
Right.
If it's a well-written record, it goes. Production is like just the score of the time, of the trend of what needs to happen. But like that just proves that it was an awesome written song, no matter how it was probably going to be produced.
Right.
So minimizing it actually made it just find the jewel that it was.
And that's another thing that some artists or some producers don't understand. Like, the simpler the song is, sometimes the better it is.
That's crazy.
Like when you put too much and it's cluttered, and you're just like, oh, this is giving me a headache. That's when you need to take stuff out.
That's interesting. I like to say, don't muddy up your message. You know, if your message is clean, it'll cut.
Yeah.
And in the world of today, where we're competing with the world in music, you know, all these other platforms of content, the quicker you get your message across and reinforce the message is really what it's about.
Right. Like, I think about the artists of yesterday compared to the artists of today. And the artists of yesterday, they, you know, because not everybody writes.
Yeah.
Not everybody, you know, some people come in and they have stuff ready for them. Cadence, hook, everything. And
they're just performing.
And then they just got to mimic what they see on, you know, what they hear and go in the booth and do what they do. And then there's other people that come in and just be like, right out the building, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's some people that I've come across that are amazing. I'm like, you're one of them, by the way.
Me?
I gotta say that.
Me?
Like, yeah.
Oh, so I'm somebody now. I low-key thought that was a shot at me a minute ago. I was like, oh shit, okay. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No, because we go back. So, and I always give credit where credit is due.
Oh, thanks, man.
So,
likewise.
But I don't want to be one of these guys, like, you know how they're saying right now, oh, you old and you think old, and no, I adapt.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I like the fact, and I think you can attest to this, we have the best of both worlds.
I love where we're at.
We know how it used to be,
Yeah.
and we know how it is now.
Yeah.
And you just combine the two, and then that's why you'll eventually win.
Yeah.
It may not be right at this moment, because we are in a world where there's 100,000 artists trying to do this shit.
Oh, there's millions of songs uploaded every day. And now you're not even competing with that. You're competing with like other things, and people don't even realize this. Like, so your song comes down the stream, right? Say, you don't realize that you're also now competing with, said corporation running their ads. Like, they're competing in the same space in the same time frame. Mm-hmm. And so you have to think that way.
Yeah.
Your competitors are the big corporations of the world as well. They're trying to hit the same people. Mm-hmm. So that's why we talk about like the co-brand. You should partner with them and try and find out ways of the people that they're going after to work with them, because they're trying to go down the same viewing streams. They're trying to hit the same people. So we talked about A&R. That's kind of where you were at. We talked about you're an artist development guy. You've done that with huge amounts of acts, and I didn't even know about the Fergie thing. I thought that was maybe a label thing that kind of the rumor I had heard around the mill was that the label had wanted a female, and then this is who they had picked. I didn't know it was like a much natural team building situation with you kind of heading it up.
And to really break it down, like actually Nicole Scherzinger, Will wanted her.
No way.
He wanted her, but she was in a group called Eden's Crush at the time.
Oh wow.
And she couldn't do it because she had a contract.
Yeah.
So we walked away, and he was just like, man, da 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 da. And then I just remember going to a club probably a couple days later, and then I saw Ferg again for the first time in probably a year or so. And then I was like, yo, let's link up, And then she came, and that's when I listened to her demos.
Yeah.
Demos. So then, when I had the conversation with her, and at first I had the conversation with Will, and then I said, well, let me go talk to her. I talked to Ferg, and I said, listen to me. We have a session today. I think in your best interest, you should join us. Because first of all, you're a Black Eyed Peas fan. She goes, it's my favorite group. I was like, that's why I feel like you could work. I'm like, you're bringing something. This is not that pop stuff you was doing with Wild Orchid.
And how did you see that vision?
Because she's a head. She's a hip hop head. That's all she's ever been. She loved hip hop since Roxanne Shante, since Salt and Pepper, like that type of era, the 80s hip hop. So knowing that in my past, because I met her when she was 16. So knowing what group she had just came from and knowing how she truly is, I knew it was the best fit.
But from a marketing standpoint, how did you see it? Because that was like that was the first time.
If you look at the first go around, she was wearing wife beaters, Dickies, Adidas, and visors. Like, she was looking the part. She was straight B girl, and the bamboo earring, like whatever she was wearing, but she had this voice, and it just fit what they did, because this is what Will is. He's so good at so many things, but this in particular, he knows how to take a certain singer and like take their voice. He's like, I don't want to hear all the and like, let's hold off for that right now. Let's keep it simple. I just need you to sing this straight through, and then on a certain part, if you want to do all that, cool, we'll surprise people. But other than that, let's just keep it simple.
He keeps the intrigue and the tension.
Yes.
And what he's doing is what we just talked about, but with music, is he's kind of not muddying up the message. Right. But he even takes it to the next extent of with the voice. Like, brilliant.
I remember years later, we had done a song on his last album that he did, Willpower, and he was going out to dinner, and I remember Chris Brown. It was funny because at that time, Chris was working on Fame and Fortune, and we were working on Willpower. And like you said, people be in different sessions, you get on. So he was like, get Chris on the song. So I grabbed Chris, brought him in our room. He's in the booth. Wood just left. And then he calls me, he goes, yo, no R&B neck. And I'm like, he goes, he'll know what I mean. Tell him.
I know what he means.
And then I go,
that's funny.
I said, hey, he goes, what? He goes, he said, no R&B neck. He goes, okay, got you. Which means no running with the neck and all that. No.
It's true.
But that's what and it's so crazy because that moment stayed with me Because now when I work with my artists, I have some artists that can sing through the roof.
Yeah.
But I tell them, I don't say the R&B neck thing. I just say, listen, simple is better. And if I'm like, just go back and listen to Whitney Houston songs or Mariah songs where, you know, they sang simple through the whole song, and then when they got to a certain breakdown or whatever, then they went ham.
Yeah.
I said, you save that stuff for stage.
So what's the difference between A&R and artist development, in your opinion?
A&R is basically, you know, you find the talent. And artist development, AD, you groom the talent. You see what I'm saying? So you find the talent, you groom the talent. And in my shoes, I do both.
Yeah.
So, you know, for the A&Rs out there, I do it differently. You know what I'm saying? I do all hats.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do everything, but I do what I do best.
Do you feel like artist development is a lost art form in today's world?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you, because with Getro and what you're developing there, you are doing it like more traditional in that you've got a group of people, you're developing it, you're taking the time, taking the patience, you really are grooming it. How are you getting over hurdles in today if that isn't really looked at as important?
Well, with the one thing that I do with the artists, I let them be. So, for instance, you're in the camp. You're not just gonna just do Getro stuff. Like if you had a following or if you had something going on before what we were doing, keep doing that. Keep building your brand because you're a part of this anyways.
Yeah.
You're only going to help the situation. So keep doing what you're doing. Like one of our artists right now has an album out and it's starting to get traction. And I feel like I'm not going to limit these artists at all. Under no circumstance should you limit your artists. Like stranglehold or whatever. Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let them be the best artists they can be. I remember working, her name is Cyril. She's one of the MCs in Getro. And she's the young lady that I'm talking about right now. I told her, I said, listen to me. I know you love trap. I know you love certain things. I said, but I want you to be a well-rounded artist, MC. Like, I want you to be able to do pop records, trap records, freestyle, hardcore hip hop. Like, I want you to be able to do the whole thing so nobody can say nothing.
Yeah.
You dig? So, and she took that to heart because now she was already a beast. Oh man, I can't even explain her right now. She is fire.
What are some of the key components? Like those are few that you've seen, right? Are those the main components of developing an artist or brand for you, or is that just one aspect of it? Maybe you can answer that in two parts.
Okay.
So for your artists, are those the main keys for developing? Or is there other things that you look at, like their tenacity, their mindset, how their business sense is?
Well,
or is it
okay.
just...
It's all of that.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you one example of like Same Girl. I remember she rapped on this one song, and when she started the song, she did the first verse. She was on fire. She was so mad. She was angry. She was going at it, and I stopped her. I said, "Stop." She's like, "Well, what's going on?" I said, "I need you to tone it back." She goes, "Why?" I said, "I don't want to hear that anger until later." I said, "So let's do this. Let's build and build and build and build. And then when you get to that certain point, then you let it out. And you're going ham and you're angry. And then all of a sudden, when the listener is like, oh shit, then you tone it down again."
Yeah. So dynamics.
Yes. And when we did it that way, I'll never forget people's faces in the room. They were like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, this is years of gaining knowledge, being in studios with everybody from Michael Jackson to people that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
And
Josh Stevens.
Oh my God. He's a beast, by the way. Don't get it twisted. But no, it's everything. Like, okay, we work on a song, great. That song turned out great. Okay, now how do we market that song? Yeah. Okay, we need to get it on this platform, this platform, this platform. Let's do a video for it. Let's and going back to the piece for a second, with the Elephunk album in particular, So when Where's the Love came out, it took a minute for it to go. So it'd been out maybe 2.5, 3 months. And then I remember go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I want to make a point that's really important. Patience.
Yes.
Patience is an important part in
Yes,
developing
very important.
content, brand, everything.
Because nowadays, people are impatient.
Yeah.
They want to just drop something at the drop of a hat. The mix name may not be right.